So now the part of Facebook reporting that I think is incredibly powerful, and that is the breakdown tab. You can look at how your ad sets are performing by age and gender, country, region, device, platform and device, placement and device. And you can gauge it by action and things like that. I don't really go into by action and by time tabs. I just use these delivery tabs. And I use these to work out who I should be targeting in future. If you start your Facebook ads and you don't know who to target and you go broad, then what you do is use this breakdown tab to work out who responded better to your ads, who you should just optimize your ad spend for in future, who you should narrow and constrain your ad set targeting to in future in terms of the age, gender, and location, and even what device they're using and what platform they're on and what placements to use. I should note that there are 113 ad sets in this particular campaign I'm using for these videos in this section. And the more ad sets you have, the more ad set breakdowns that have to load. So do be prepared for a bit of a choppy video, because I'll be cutting all the load time out because I don't want you to sit there waiting with me. So let's have a look at the breakdown by age. Now I should note that when I started advertising, I had a very clear picture of my target customer. So I didn't really test different age ranges that much. So let's take a look at the age. It's loaded the first few ad sets, and as you can see, my return on ad spend here apparently is 1,343 because I spent 7 pence and made a website conversion for £94.03. I would say ignore that. As an amazing result as it is, it's only one purchase and you can't make judgments based off of one person. Okay, so I'm just going to forget that. And I only spent 7 pence as well, so it's a bit stupid to even think about making decisions on that 7 pence. It's 7 pence. I could walk down to my local corner shop and pick that up. That isn't a lot of money to spend on ads and to gauge future business decisions when my aim for this business is to run it for a number of years. So as you can see here, my cost per purchase for 18 to 24, which is this line here, $9.99, 13 to 17, $8.87. So what that tells me is these audiences are very interested in the product and I'm making a good profit from each of these age groups in this ad set. So what I would do here is probably duplicate this ad set, and I would run twice, and I would run one ad set to just 18 to 24 year olds and one ad set to just 13 to 17 year olds. CPC for 13 to 17 is 6 pence, double it for 18 to 24. But I can't really show you what I really want to show you in this video from this ad set. What I want to show you is how on the surface of an ad set, this is the average, the total here. On the surface of an ad set, you might have a really good cost per purchase, but when you delve deep into it, actually there may be one specific age or gender or country or city or placement or device that is converting a lot worse than all the others. And actually, if you cut that out of the ad set, the cost per purchase would go down dramatically and it would increase your profit margin on that ad set. I can't show you it here because these ages are converting really well, so we'll keep going. Again, we've got another very, very cheap cost per purchase, 11 pence in this age range, but it's just one purchase. Again, I'm not going to make any business decisions on that right now. let's look at gender and see if there's quite a difference between the CPPs. As I said, I had a very clear idea of who my target customer were, so I didn't spend much money on females either. So it's not looking like I can show you an example of how on the surface an ad set may appear to be doing really well. But actually the results are just from one specific type of person. This has got one purchase, but as you can see, the CPC is $9.74. In actual fact, this one was $14.90 from a female. It's £5 more, £5.20 more expensive to acquire a female through this ad set than it is to acquire a male. If this number of purchases was a lot more than one, and it was an amount I'd be happy on making a decision from, so say like it was 50 purchases or something like that, and this CPP was still $14.90, I would just go into this ad set and I would edit it and I would remove females from the targeting, and that over time would bring down the CPP to reflect that of just the males, and I'd be spending the same amount of money each day on this ad set, but I would have removed this more expensive customer and I'd be just acquiring the cheaper customers, which would in turn generate more sales, more revenue, more profit for me, just from that one simple change. Now, one thing I know should work is country. This should allow me to show you how on the surface of an ad set it appears to be doing well, but if you look deeply into it, there's always one demographic that is either performing exceptionally well or exceptionally bad. So here we are. Look at this. This is Italy, this column. We've spent £53 on Italy. We haven't made one sale. And then we've got a huge range of different CPPs here, from £4 to £13, £19. This is France, £19 cost per purchase. So what I would do here is look at this ad set, and first of all, I'd definitely remove Italy, and I would perhaps remove France, and I'd probably, because there are so many that are converting for under £10, I'd probably remove any that are converting at a CPP of over £10, and this cost per purchase would go down dramatically because I've removed all the worst performing countries. Alternatively, I could duplicate the ad set and I could take a note of all the best performing countries, this one, this one, this one, this one, 44 sales at £5.55 per sale, amazing, and this one, and I would just add these into the new ad set, and I'd make sure I'm not targeting people in the countries that are converting at above £10. So as you can see, while on the surface it appears to be doing incredible, there's always room to improve, because there are always places that just don't convert, such as Italy, or convert at double or triple or quadruple the price of another country. So, for example, to put this into context, for every £100 I spend on France, I make 5 sales. For every £100 I spend on this one, I make 20 sales. Which one would you rather optimize your spend on? Would you rather carry on making 5 sales from France? Or would you rather make 20, quadruple the amount of money? You tell me. And it's happened again here. £24 CPP, although there's only one purchase, compared to 15, 8, 7, average of 10. It's way above the average of this ad set. So I'd cut that one out in future. This one as well, Italy again, 26. Clearly these people just aren't interested in the product. Do take into account the amount spent as well. If you haven't spent much on a country, it's not really worth making decisions about it because you haven't gathered enough data about it. It could be a completely anomalous result. But yeah, it's just interesting. I hope you find it as interesting as I do. This is the US converting at £20. The average within this ad set is £13. So if I cut this out, the CPP is going to decrease. And I've spent £470, which I think is, it's probably enough to make a decision on the US right now. This one, spent £1,000 here for £13 CPCs. So I'd rather cut out the US, and this £470 I would rather have spent on one of these two, and I'd have got another 47 sales. So it's very interesting. You have to realize the value and the help that the data you're receiving from ad sets provides you, whether it's running at a loss or not. You're getting so much data, and it's helping you form the idea for your ideal customer and your ideal targeting on Facebook. You're creating a persona. You're going to know the age, the gender, the country, even the region. If I go into this even further. But you do, as I said, you do have to be careful not to make decisions too early on. You have to know whether you've spent enough money or not on this country or this region or this gender, because if you make a decision on it too early, it might turn out that you've missed a huge opportunity. So we're going down now. All of these are in Spain, and this one spent £7 and not made a purchase, and that's probably because it's a very populated area. Whereas some of the others, I spent less than £1 and made a purchase. This is in Madrid, so perhaps if I do want to continue targeting Spain, I just target Madrid. Maybe I go through these regions and I realize that it's the huge cities and the capitals that are converting the best for me at the lowest CPC, in which case in future I just target capital cities. If you can find patterns from your ad spend, it can be insanely lucrative, insanely profitable if you can work out the pattern here, because there probably will be a pattern, you just have to find it. Let's check out platform. Now, platform's good because it helps you on deciding in future what placements to use. Facebook and Instagram here, an audience network, when I used to use audience network. Facebook converting for £8, Insta 12, Facebook 8, Insta 12, Facebook 14, Insta 10, 19 Facebook, 15 Insta. So that's placements. I don't like to make a judgment between Facebook and Instagram, because for this particular product, it suits both platforms. If you're selling, for example, just off the top of my head, if you're selling teenage girls' jewelry and your ad creatives are really pretty pictures, you've got models modeling it, you've perhaps even got influencers using it, it's probably going to convert better on Instagram because your audience are there for starters, but the content of the ad creative itself is better suited to Instagram. If you have a viral video, an informative video, or a funny video that's quite long, then it's probably better suited to Facebook, and you're probably going to find your CPP is better on Facebook. It's always interesting to check this out, though. Let's also look at impression device. Now, this helps with deciding whether you're going to run mobile only, desktop only, or iPhone, or Android, or tablet, or iPad, or everything. So here we are. This is other. This is desktop, iPhone, iPad, Android smartphone, tablet. As you can see here, this is desktop and this is iPhone. They've both spent a similar amount, but the CPP on desktop is £1.50-ish cheaper. However, cheaper, and the ROAS is slightly more. Now this is marginal. I'm not going to make any decisions on this. I'm not going to change anything because they're so similar that, you know, it's pretty redundant. It's not significant really. But if we come down here and we check this out, this is on mobile only. We spent 700, nearly 800. This is iPhone for a CPP of £18. Android, £11. So perhaps I duplicate this ad set, keep the targeting as it is, but I just show it to Android smartphones and I see what happens. See if I can get a CPP of £11 on average rather than 15. So it's just a case of going through your breakdowns and looking at where you can test and optimize. Desktop 19, iPhone 17, Android 12. So Android's the cheapest yet again. These two are driving up the cost per purchase on average here, from around £12 to up to 16. So if I'd have spent this full budget of £1,500, I would have got an ROAS. If it was just on Android smartphone, theoretically, I would have got an ROAS of 5.17. So I'd have made about 7.5, made about £7,500 as opposed to the £5,000 here. So it's just something to look at. I hope that the breakdowns have opened your eyes a bit as to how this is an average and how it breaks down and what you can look at. For starters, the first thing I would do is work out the gender. If you have a product that you don't really know which gender is going to respond better to it, test the genders and then look at the breakdown for gender. Another really important one is age ranges. You need to work out which age you need to be targeting in future. And then you can go into things like devices and platforms and placements, but age and gender, and then I would also say countries as well is a big one. There's some that you really need to spend a lot of time analysing and looking at. And of course, just because these Android smartphones have converted at £12 doesn't mean that if I duplicate this ad set with all the same settings and just target Android smartphones, it doesn't mean the new ad set is going to convert at £12. It might convert at less, it might convert at more. But the fact is you have the data here to now actually address and inform what sort of testing you do in future.